Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about a brand new game coming to Kickstarter very soon. This one is called Kodama Forest. It is the next game in line with all of any boards and cards games in that Kodama series. This is a 3 to 6 player game in which you are working with your neighbors to build a forest of polyominoes.
Yeah, past Kodama is focused on trees for the most part, and this one focuses on all of the trees, if you will, in the forest, because you're laying out these tiles to not really build just a forest, but some specific things as well.
Each player in Kodama Forest is going to begin with one of these 9x9 player boards. These are double-sided, so you can play with the advanced side or the beginner side. Now there's two main differences. One, the beginner side is the same for all of the players, where the advanced side, each of the sides are different. The beginner side is also going to have fewer numbers on that side of the player board. These are points at the end of the game for the ones that you have uncovered. The trick in this game is you want to cover those numbers because points in this game are bad.
Yeah, you're going to see lots of 10s and 5s on any player board, no matter which one you use, and you're going to want to cover those up. Now, you're going to have tiles to use to do that, but you're going to want to try to get bonus tiles to do that as well.
On the board itself, there's actually going to be spaces where there's Kodamas as well, where the game takes its name. These are spaces that you cannot cover through the course of the game. All right, so we've talked about the player board. Let's also talk about the polyominoes. Each player is going to draw 3 of these at the start of the game, and you have a whole bag of them with different sizes, different shapes, and different objects on those polyominoes. You're also going to start with 3 special ones in the center of the board, which will come into play as you build out your board.
Yeah, and one thing we should say right now is we're kind of sitting awkwardly here because you don't sit with the player board in front of you. You're going to be sharing player boards with the players to your left and right. So I would be sitting right here sharing this player board as well as this player board, because when you get your pieces, you're going to be on your turns simultaneously playing tiles on both boards beside you.
Each of these polyominoes is going to have a different configuration, as I already mentioned, but they also may have different things on them. There are 4 main types of things on them. One are the trees by which you're going to be placing on the board. These trees can be placed anywhere. They're basically just graphical elements on the tiles. However, there's 3 special elements on the tiles as well. There's half lakes, there's half bamboo stalks, and then there's half flowers. These you will be trying to pair together to make those images on your player boards in order to bring these special tiles into play. And we'll explain these as we actually start explaining the game itself.
Yeah, so like many games, this game is very easy to play. The thinking comes into solving that puzzle to your left and to your right on these boards. But on your turn, everyone's always going to start with 3 tiles in front of them, as we said. And when everyone takes their turn together, you're going to choose one of your tiles to play to your left and one of your tiles to play to your right. Now, you can discuss with your quote-unquote teammates on either side of you how you best want to play, but you have to remember at the end of the game, you're going to take the combined score of both of those boards. And like we said, you want to cover up those 10s and 5s, but each of the empty spaces as well, those are 1 point.
When you place your tile on the board, they can actually be placed anywhere. So these don't have to be placed orthogonally to pre-existing tiles. So there's some strategy on where you want to place these. Obviously, you want to place tiles over the larger numbers because you want to cover those up first, especially your 10s, because those are negative 10 points at the end of the game. So there are a couple set of rules that you have to pay attention when you place your tiles. Number 1, you obviously can't place on top of any pre-existing tiles. You can never place off of the edge of the board, so as I place them, they always have to be within the confines of the forest themselves. Another thing is you can never cover any of the Kodamas in the game. These have to be left blank because they need room to breathe and live. Finally, what you're trying to do with these tiles is to place them over numbers because those are worth negative points at the end of the game. What's unique about this game is that they don't have to be placed orthogonally adjacent to previously existing ones. So this tile that I place can actually be anywhere on the board. Now you're going to have to pay attention because as you start to fill in spaces everywhere, you have to get the exact right type of tile to fill in those spaces that you leave open. The trick in this game is using the right types of tiles to build out formations on your board with those 3 special icons.
Yeah, like Jeremy said, the rules don't require you to play adjacent to another tile, but you're going to find yourself wanting to do that because when you match up some of these elements, you're going to get these bonus tiles in the middle. The first element we mentioned earlier is the flower. I have this tile here in front of me, and I could place it on this board or this board. This one looks like a better match. I could place it here covering up just 2 of the 5s, but matching one of the flowers. Now, when you do that, you and your partner, if you will, are going to take one of these individual butterfly tiles and you can place that anywhere. Now, you're going to have spaces in the middle like this that you might want to cover, although that's 1 point. you could cover something like this and get rid of 10 points right away. Next up are the lakes or the ponds. Now, I would be taking this to the other board because you're only placing one tile on either board. Now, I could place this right here. It fits perfectly in that space, again, covering up a 10 and 2 5s as well as creating this completed pond. That allows me to take one of these frog tiles. This is going to be a 1x2, and again, I can place this anywhere I want, covering hopefully as many points as possible.
The final special tile is the bamboo tile, and this is the king daddy of them because it's a large tile. Anytime you make a bamboo bed, such as this, I can take one of these large bamboo pandas and place it anywhere. These can cover up a 2x2 grid. Obviously, again, you want to look at your board and try to cover the spaces that are worth the most points. I have 26 points in this location, so you're going to cover it up just like that. And you'll continue taking turns round after round, with each round ending with the players taking 2 more tiles from the bag and placing it in front of them. Once a player's board, being the one to the left or the one to the right, is fully covered with all the numbers not being shown on that player board, you're going to end the game. But how you win is unique according to the player boards to your left and your right.
Yeah, you're not going to just look at one of the player boards, but once one of all the 5s and 10s are covered, you're going to look at both player boards. In fact, every player at the table is going to do this and effectively add up the points on the player board to the right and their left, and whoever has the fewest points showing, and that's the 5s, the 10s, and the 1s, which are those empty spaces, is going to be the winner.
Now, there are going to be a number of different variants in the game as well, including cards that could possibly give players additional goals, additional ways to score or to reduce points within the game. Make sure you guys go to the Kickstarter page to see all those final components and the final art. This is a prototype that we have in front of us, obviously. If you have any questions about the game, make them in the comments below. Subscribe to us, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and everything else that we do, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye-bye.